Right, welcome, ladies and gents. One of the surprises, I guess, recently was that Constantine will be getting a sequel. Francis Lawrence will be back. Keanu Reeves will be back, of course. This is one of those things which should have had a sequel a long time ago. I think most people were sort of keen to see this again. A lot of people don't think that Keanu Reeves makes a good, Constantine, but they thought that it was a good film. I guess that's kind of the general census. So this getting a sequel was good news. I mean, I love this news. I'm happy with this. And I'm especially happy because it takes more characters and DC Warner Brothers moving further and further away from what J.J. Abrams wants to do. Because he's just terrible. He's awful. So Constantine 2, director Francis Lawrence, wants the sequel to be a real R-rated film. Perfect. Yeah. So it should be. Now, does this mean that we're going to get it? Given that James Gunn and Peter Safran is now in charge of DC Studios. Maybe. 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 I mean, you think of the target audience for Keanu Reeves, it's not exactly super youngsters, is it? He's, he's an old actor now. And the sort of target audience, his fan base, although they are and can be young, I don't think the target audience for a Constantine is necessarily the younger side of things, children. And I don't think the majority of Keanu fans are children. So I think there's the potential that this could be an R-rated film. Now, they say here, a real R-rated film. I think this could get away with what we call in the UK a 15. I think that'd be fine. I'm not overly sure. I can't remember what the Suicide Squad was. James Gunn's film for DC. I have an inkling that might have been more. I think that might have been R-rated. I'd have to double check. But so there is the potential that this could work. And I think that this would be a better product as a result of that. So let's dive into what was said, ladies and gents. And before we do, just as a quick one, I live stream now every Tuesday and Thursday, and those streams are obviously quite long. People can't watch them all. I get that. And, if you don't want to watch them all, then you can head on over to my second channel, where you can watch highlight clips from the live streams, basically. So there's a link down below, Mr. H Reviews Live Archives. Please do check it out. Hit subscribe, turn the bell notifications on. But let's check this out. So this is from the Wrap. And they say earlier this year, this isn't from the Wrap, but the source is the Wrap anyway. But earlier this year it was announced that Warner Brothers was in the early stages of developing a Constantine sequel. And while there's still no script for the movie, which is interesting, I would have thought that this was announced a little bit further down the line. So I'm surprised that there's no script. But returning director Francis Lawrence did reveal to the Wrap that the storyline has been discussed endlessly. We have germs of ideas and dedication. And Keanu and I have been batting around for a while, and we've always wanted to do it. It's just that we've finally gotten past the hurdle of now we can go ahead and really do it. Now we have to just roll up our sleeves and dive in. But we have lots of ideas. So one of the ideas Lawrence revealed is to make the sequel a true R-rated film. The director revealed that when making the 2005 movie, they were limited in what they could and could not do because Warner Brothers wanted it to be PG-13. Now, I understand companies wanting to do PG-13s. It makes sense. You've got a broader audience. You have the higher potential chance for profit at that point. I get it. I don't think it's necessarily great, though. I get the justification. I don't think it's a good reason overall. I think there are certain properties which then lend themselves predominantly to the R rating. And I think Constantine's one of them. And I think that's okay. Now they say here, one of the biggest things for me about the first one was we followed, per Warner Brothers, the rules to make a PG-13 movie in terms of violence, blood, language, sexuality. Constantine was actually given an R rating, and this was due to the grey zone of intensity. Now that's interesting. So they followed the sort of mandate to make it PG-13, but it got given an R rating due to the grey zone of intensity. Which, what does that even mean? Again, grey zone, absolutely. And my big regret was that we have an R-rated movie that's really a PG-13 movie. And if I was going to have to go, if I was going to have to go have an R, I would have really made an R-rated movie. I would have made it much scarier, much more violent, and I would have really made an R-rated movie. So for the sequel, Lawrence said that he wants to really go at it and make a real R-rated Constantine, which is, I think, what people always wanted originally, not the PG-13 version that just happens to get the R rating. I mean, it makes sense. It makes massive sense. I mean, it is quite funny as well. He's like, oh, well, it's a PG-13 movie. Just happened to get the R rating. I mean, he's not wrong. So this article notes that movie studios tend to shy away from producing R-rated films due to the belief that it could limit box office potential. But as we've seen in recent years, Deadpool, Logan, Joker, they are equally as successful as PG-13 movies. In some instances, more successful than most PG-13 movies. So, Lawrence continued and says, look, I think John Constantine is a funny character in a darkly comic kind of way, and I would want to definitely add more of that sarcastic, cynical sense of humour to the story. I think that'd be interesting to see Keanu Reeves do cynicism and sarcasm. We sort of get a harsh cynicism in his John Wick portrayal. I don't know how that would translate to Constantine. Hopefully it's just not the same kind of thing. I mean, you hire Keanu Reeves, you're kind of getting, you know what you're getting as an actor, really, aren't you? You don't hire him because he's an exceptional actor. You hire him because he's good at what he does. So there you have it. I mean, there's not much else to really dive into here. I think there's hope that this could be R-rated. I think James Gunn being in charge is a good indicator that that's a potential. I also think that the other films that have come out, Logan, Deadpool, Joker, I think those films are a good, sort of litmus test for R-rated comic book movies doing well. And I also think, like I said, the main fan base of Keanu Reeves, they're not children. So I think there's a lot going for this. What do you guys think? Would you want an R-rated Constantine, though? I know, crying out, loads of people are just going, yeah, obviously. But let me know down below. Be curious to hear your thoughts. Cheers, guys. Take care.